My head's bigger than yours.
Your hair's always bigger than mine.
Yeah, like that. Hey, you guys, welcome to the Dr. G Show. This is episode 152. I'm Dr. G, and today we have our special guest,
Hello.
Mariah Warden, back.
Thank you for having me back.
And tell us a little bit about your clinic, because I don't know if we talked about that last time.
I think we did a little bit, but I'm a licensed clinical social worker and then private practitioner in Wichita, Kansas. You know, of course, therapy. I'm a mental health mental health therapist, and I see a lot of ADHD clients, adults, and then teens, and then children, and also I'm an ADHD coach, certified life coach, and so that's what I do. There are times where I see my ADHD clients back to back, about 5-6 of them back to back. I'm just all ADHD out, and then my own ADHD gets triggered. But yes, that's what I do, and then I love it every day.
Hey Linda, hey Robert. So yeah, you gotta be like, it's like chasing cats all day, emotionally or something.
There's some, that component to it, just constantly. I mean, there are a lot of times I have to bring back, bring my clients back to the focus. Let's talk about this, and then where are you going? And then I get distracted and talk about something else completely different. And then, but bringing them back. But no, it's fun. I mean, for me, it is my passion. I mean, it is my passion, working with a client with ADHD, or just not even working, just knowing and then learning and then just being around people with ADHD. It just gives me energy, and then I just get really hyper.
And you and Scott have a show.
Yes, we do actually.
Is it y'all's show?
Yeah, it's just like yours live stream, ADHD live.
Just like mine.
Not as cool as yours, let's put it that way. So we're only like episode 10. Every Monday at 6 o'clock we have ADHD live Facebook live stream. We just talk about everything about adult ADHD. And he talks just like covering any kind of subject with the ADHD. We cover medication in the past 2 weeks.
Good, yeah.
Medication, we covered ADHD with relationship and boundaries, and also I think second one was like help. I'm married ADHD, so dealing with ADHD spouse.
Yes.
That was fun. So we talk about, again, everything out there about has to do with ADHD adults and their lives and their everyday lives and things like that. Time management we talked about too. I think next one you're gonna come.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you so much. So this coming Monday you're gonna come, and then you're gonna talk about food as medicine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna kind of give us some boost. And
we should do it. How to make your kid ADD by feeding them these things. How about that?
I don't think that
like
we'll consider ethical.
Oh.
I don't think that'll be ethical. I think we might get in the calls from your board and then my board, and it's like, okay, give me back your license. No, I mean, I think food. I do really believe about food, and then I learn a lot from you. I always talk about you with my clients too, and then you gotta go see Dr. Patrick. But I actually share what you taught me, with my clients. Something that just little things that I know, and then it makes sense, and then my clients just find it really useful information. And then one of my clients actually last week said, "Wow, your doctor really taught you a lot." I was like, "Yeah, he's really smart." So. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're coming next Monday.
I know. I learned so much from you too.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So we're on part 3 of 4 of the hero's journey, and so everybody goes through this hero's journey, right?
Yeah.
And there's Jamie, back from San Francisco.
Wow.
And
where's the videos on?
Yeah. Where's yours?
No,
it should be the first one. Sorry,
technical.
Yeah,
there you go. Okay,
right.
good.
So she's sharing the video. Yeah, make sure to share the video and like it. So we're at part 3 of the 4 stages of the hero's journey. Every epic hero, huge movie, they all go through these same sequences. And when I learned about the hero's journey, I realized, oh my gosh, this is what my patients go through all the time. And in fact, that's what I went through on my own hero's journey. And so I was just like, you kind of think your things that so unique and different, and your steps are so hard, but then you realize, it's all the same. It's the same path. Everybody has the same path. As long as they make it through, same path. But all the kind of failures and fears, it's all the same. It doesn't matter whether we're talking about changing the food, having relationships, work, life transition. It's all the same, which is amazing. So we talked about, let's see here, the status quo, which is, hey, I can't keep doing this. And this is what I see patients all the time, the same thing. Like, you were just like, I can't do this anymore. So then there's the call to adventure of like, I'm going to do something different. And then there's the refusal, which is, I'm not going to do that. That's a lot of work. Because the pain of your current situation has to be greater than the pain of change before change occurs.
Pain of your current situation has to be greater than the pain that you anticipate to have for changing.
That's right.
Okay.
Before change will ever happen.
Okay.
Right?
So anticipated pain.
So like we talked about those stages of change before, and everybody gets like, oh, I'm going to do a bunch of planning, make a spreadsheet, join a gym, but the action part, we refuse.
Right, yeah.
Just refuse. Cognitive dissonance. Dissonance?
Dissonance, yeah.
Dissonance. And then you meet a mentor.
Yeah.
And so you meet someone like Mariah, and she says, you know what? Here's some really interesting things that you can do to change your life, and I believe in you. I'm going to hold your hand, and we're going to get through this together, right?
Yeah, or meet a person like you, a doctor. We talked about it last week, right? That your confidence, rubbing off of, right? Your patients, see your confidence and your expertise and your knowledge that, oh, I think I can do this.
Yeah.
He says I can, and he said all these people were able to do it. Well, I think I can do that. Yeah, things like that.
I think my old Facebook picture, it was this quote that said, if you hang around me long enough, I'll convince you can do anything.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. I like that.
And so the nice thing about like the mentor kind of relationship is often we don't have enough kind of like oomph in ourselves. And so it's nice to have that kind of person that like, well, he says I can do it. He believes in me. She thinks I'm awesome. She's going to be there for me in case I fall. I can do this.
Yes, definitely.
And that mentor becomes that critical epicenter of change. And then there's the epic of crossing the threshold, of making some differences. And with patients, I see this all the time. Once they are like by the time they see me, pain of their current situation is way worse than the pain of change. But that sense of like, well, where am I going to buy food? How am I going to do this? How am I going to interact with my relatives? How am I going to eat a church potluck? How am I going to react when these things happen? My old comforts were these things. And so that crossing that threshold, you can see the fear in their eyes and the confusion of just like, how am I going to do these things?
Is it a leap of faith?
It is.
It is?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's like kind of because you don't know what you're going to face. You don't know what's waiting for you, but you're still leaping from the faith.
That's right. And that faith, I think that's the mentor's faith a lot of time. But some people have their own, like, I'm going to do this. And they just, they have their own mentor deep inside and they rely on that.
Yeah.
And then there's last week we talked about the tests, the trials, the tribulations, allies, like who you find who your right tribe is.
Yeah.
And then you find out who your frenemies are.
Frenemies, yes.
And you find out how your enemies are.
Yes.
And what's sad is a lot of us have people in our lives that constantly, we allow them to constantly degrade us, pull us apart, keep us down. Because one of the things that happens when you make changes, and tell me if you guys think this is right, when you start making changes, it is almost it is a personal insult to everyone that is not going with you on that trip. Why do you have to eat like that? Right. Why do you have to do that? Well, we didn't do that and we're just fine. My kids grew up this way and they're just fine, right? It's like, well, that's great for you.
That's great for you.
I'm getting on this bus and I'm going over here, okay? And we're like, well, it's like, it's crazy.
This is so true. Yeah, Julie says it's so true. Yeah.
Julie be knowing. High five. So yeah, it's crazy because even some of your, and this is really good because some of your like closest allies, end up being some of your worst. What was it? Heath Ledger said, "You don't have to fear from the outside, or fear the people from the outside. It's the people that." That's not what he said. It's something like that. But Your enemies aren't going to be the ones on the outside. Your enemies are going to be the ones that are the closest to you, that try to sabotage
You know,
you.
I think it's even if I don't know. Sometimes their concern for your well-being come across as not having faith in you.
Well, so well-intentioning friends.
Right. So,
yeah.
Are you sure? Do you want to go through that? You're gonna have a hard time. What if you get hungry? What if you don't? What if you get sick? Well, what if you lose this? What if you do that? I mean, so almost like, you know, they're bringing all these doubts, self-doubts, and then kind of putting it out there for you. But actually, what that is, that's coming from their own self-doubt.
Right.
You know, their own self-doubt and judgment, or their own insecurity. They're just putting it out there, almost like, yeah, have you thought about this? Have you think about this? But that's their own story, so what they're telling themselves. And then I actually had a client with, you know, a parent relationship issues, and then, you know, basically I said to mom, when you bring up your own fears, insecurity, or self-doubt, and then present that as that is your child's problem. And have you thought about this? What if, you know, your friend doesn't talk to you? You know, maybe that's because of this, because of that. You're bringing a theory, right? But it's your story.
Right.
You're making it his story.
Right.
Then now he's the one who has to solve that problem that was not his from the first place.
Right.
Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So even the friends or parents, they kind of throw those things out there, but not because they don't know your strength, but it's coming from their own insecurity, their own self-doubt.
So that's a good point, because I guess some of your maybe not frenemies, so there needs to be another category, but unintentional adversaries.
There you go. Or
they're well-meaning.
Well-meaning, you know.
But they're dragging you down.
Exactly. Well-meaning.
You gotta come up with a new word for that.
Okay. It's 7:00. My brain is not working very well right now. My ADHD brain fried out today. I'm just kidding.
All right.
Well, no, yeah, we can think about that, but that's what I mean.
You guys got to come up with this word.
So well-intended, well-meaning people, but actually bring you down.
Well-intentioned people that sabotage you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's funny is I had a patient, she got rid of her gluten. She's a nurse, and the other nurses at work were like, gluten's a critical part of your diet. Like, you need that. That's an essential nutrient. And like, no, it's not. But then you have these people that are saying this stuff, and then you're
actually using their knowledge too. You know, they're coming from their science or scientific evidence or whatever. Then you kind of start doubt too. You know, right? Yeah,
because then they're like, "Is that true?" And I'm like, "No, that's not true."
Yeah,
I don't know that. So so once we get through that kind of test and frenemies, and you guys come up with the new word of unintentional, what do we say? Sabotagers?
Yeah, sabotager, sabotager. That sounds good. Yeah.
Then we get to stage 3 of the 4, which is approaching your innermost cave.
Yes.
And then the great ordeal.
Okay.
Right? And then the reward of seizing the prize or becoming the light, right? And so
approaching the innermost cave.
Yeah, so approaching the innermost cave, I like that part because it really is that like preparing for major change. So you have all this knowledge, you've kind of like worked through some details, you're on your way, and then there's this this big challenge. And it could be like, I grew up in the hood, so we call it white people problems. It could be something like that. Like, oh my gosh, how do I eat at like the church potluck or something, right? So it's just like for other people, that's not a real internal cave thing. But for some people it is, right?
Yeah,
but then for other people, it's like, how do I handle being with my family who's not supportive and I now have healthy boundaries? Or, it's like, how do I handle having a relationship where I'm going this direction and becoming a light, and the other person maybe is sabotaging or is not supportive of you? And so then you have this kind of like that fight that, okay, I got this huge challenge. How am I going to prepare for this, right?
So is that where like you're gonna go through?
Yes.
So
yes,
it's like okay. So there's dark room.
Right.
So you decide to go through the dark room, but now you're trying to prepare how are you gonna go through the dark room.
Right.
what do you need? You need a flashlight, or you need to find a switch, or you need a headlight, whatever. So,
okay, so that's good. Who or what is going to be your resource to provide light in that innermost cave?
Mentor. That's where mentor can still be there. Is
Mentor's still there.
Okay,
yeah.
So how I kind of conceptualize this innermost cave, approaching to the innermost cave, is that I'm looking at the cave. Cave is dark. Even the bright outside, cave inside is dark, and we know that, right?
Right.
Actual cave I'm talking about.
Right.
And also the condition of environment, temperature is going to be different. We kind of anticipate that.
Yeah.
And then there might be beds. I don't like beds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there might be some rocks. Physical environment is going to be harsher than outside.
Yeah.
So I decide to go through this cave.
Right.
So then I have to prepare.
Right.
Physically, mentally, emotionally.
Right.
And I have to have a resource, this kit or package, something to survive.
Right.
There.
Your first aid kit.
Your first aid kit.
Yeah.
Okay.
And food and water and stuff.
Okay.
All right.
So that's what's happening.
Right. So, yeah, and it's like I have. If you guys ever have martinis with me, I have like the greatest cave stories in the world.
Cave dive?
Like real cave stories.
Oh, okay.
So.
Only share when you have a martini?
No, because that's when the stories start rolling.
Oh.
And people think they're made up, but they're real.
Okay.
Like, it's crazy. Like, we camped in a cave once,
Uh-huh.
and then in the morning, we decided to explore this cave. And so it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, right?
Oh.
And so then you're on your hands and knees like this, and we have our hard helmet and our headlight. And there's little stalagmites, and then it's real narrow, and there's bats flying past you.
Holy moly! I wouldn't be there.
No, they're nice. They're,
The bed is nice.
And
not flying in my face.
And so we're going through this cave, and it's almost single file, right?
Uh-huh.
And then we come across some bones. And it's just like, a chicken or something. I don't know why there's a chicken in the cave. But
are you sure it's not human?
It was all arranged in a little pattern.
Okay, that is really creepy now.
And so we're in the middle of nowhere, because we do kind of raw virgin caving. And so we're in the middle of nowhere, and why the heck is this, right? Is there Blair Witch
chicken bones or arranged?
Yeah. So is this weird pattern, and so we were just like, well, that's weird. And then we kept going, and then suddenly we could hear this sound, and we're deep underground, but you could hear this like thud.
Oh wow!
And
okay, that's a little bit intense.
It sounded like someone, like there was a basement on the other side, and somebody was throwing a basketball against it. Like it was just this really like thud sound. Okay. And so again, we start preparing. We're in our innermost real actual cave, right?
There's tension.
So I'm like,
there's tension escalating, right? It's like your
anticipation.
It's
okay, what could it be?
What is it? What's coming at me? What is this sound? Oh my gosh! Ready to run or fight? No tension. Yes.
Right. So then we're like, okay, well, what weapons do we have? How are we going to deal with this? And what the hell arranges bones that would be in a cave this small? And and what the hell is this noise? And so we kept thinking, you're trying to figure this stuff out. And so you have this kind of fears and tension. And it sounds like, well, okay, maybe it's like a cougar or something. Its paws are hitting the ground as it's walking.
Bears.
But why would it be making so much noise? And then if it's coming, there's no way to turn in the cave. So,
oh, wow.
And I made the mistake of being first. You always want to be second. So if they get attacked, you can drag their body out,
You have time to run. Did you ever figure out what it was?
Well, so we keep going and going because we're idiots. Like, let's just keep going and see what this is.
It was an old man, I believe. I'm just kidding.
We've never seen a horror movie go bad.
Uh-huh.
And actually, we should have been like, let's split up.
Oh, my, yeah, that would be the worst story, right?
And so all of a sudden, probably like 10 minutes later, I see a faint little light.
Okay.
And then it gets closer and closer and closer, and it's a very dull light. But it sees like, I don't know, 3 or 4 little 8-year-old kids in there.
Oh my god!
And they have this crappy old flashlight, but that's them going through the cave on their arms and knees and making that sound. And obviously they're the ones that arranged that. And so
the arranged the chicken bones.
Where the hell did they come from? We had to drive there.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just like, oh, there's people in this cave.
And then they're having fun. And they're not as scared as you guys because they already probably went through that and then gone through that. And they actually make it, they're just enjoying whatever they're found in the cave. Ah, that's the maybe.
It's weird.
It is.
But all that anticipation, all that preparation of like, how do we defend ourselves? What do we do? I mean, what could this be? And so facing that kind of fear, and luckily there was no ordeal. Like we didn't have to manhandle a bunch of little 8-year-old boys and choke them out, and
Well, I think there is ordeal because you guys didn't turn around. You guys kept going. Kept going. That's consistent because that's whether that's what you guys want to do.
I'll choke a cougar out.
So I think that's a good story. With goes along with approach to innermost cave.
Yeah.
With anticipations, with the fear, with the tension escalating because you don't know what to expect. You're hearing, you're experiencing fearful, self-doubt, and oh my gosh, what if I die? I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know about you, but with my experience with the client, there's some, we have time where working with the clients that they feel really intense going through some processing or trauma or things like that. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. What if I let it out and then get flooded with my emotion? I can never get those contained.
Right.
Which then I was like, well, when was the last time you start crying? Then you never stopped.
Yeah.
Well, never. Because you always stop. Things like that. So I think that building that tension and fear. I think my question is for you is that do you see that the client who is ready to approach the innermost cave, preparing themselves, anticipation is to build up, and then even there's tension, fear, but then not go through the ordeal, turn around.
Oh, all the time. Well, not with me because they're like.
You won't let them. You won't allow the patients to turn away from you.
I'm just always like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
You're always like, nah, it's okay. It's a piece of cake.
Because like the same stuff like my mentor told me was like, you might fail. Great. Get back up and start again. Right? Fall off the horse. Fine. Jump off the horse. It's fine. Get back up. I don't know. Who cares? Right? You're fine. It'll be okay. It'll hurt and then it won't. It'll be rough, then it won't. It'll be hard to make decisions, then it won't. It'll be suck because you got to read labels, then you won't, right? But you're going to feel better. And typically, at least in the first week, most people feel enough better that they're like, okay, this guy's not full crap.
Right. So then I guess that we're also talking about, in order for us to go through a willingness to approach the innermost cave, there's a willingness has to happen. Right. And then we have to be open to and the anticipation of a discomfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
and
exactly.
Uncomfortable. And it's going to happen. But then also, I'm going to be okay.
Right.
With either mentor or, the courage or the wisdom or whatever. I'm going to be okay. And then having the sense of self confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then be ready.
Yeah, that's a good point because the accepting failure as a normal process
as change, yeah. Because relapse is the part of the cycle of the change of stage of change. Yes.
Yeah. And that's what you look at. I like those pictures where they're like they show people that are succeeding and they're just like, oh, they're a winner. Well, they had all these failures that they built upon before they were able to overcome.
But other people don't see that, unnecessarily. They don't witness that.
So they're going to be like, I watch a PX90 commercial and like, wow, they I'm totally going to do that. And you buy the DVDs and you're like, I'm so sore, I can't do that. And like, I'm a failure.
What was I thinking, yeah. But I think, go ahead, I'm sorry.
But accepting failure as a part of success, I think is the most important.
Yeah.
You're gonna fall apart. You're gonna fail. It's gonna hurt. You're gonna suck, and you're gonna want to quit, and it'll be okay, and just keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think with practice. That is true. Yes.
Julie knows. Yeah.
Well, I think using the resources is really important. Having resources available for you or to you, knowing that you again anticipating that the innermost cave or this dark room might not be all that fun.
Right.
So I need to have some lifeline, lined up. Either it's gonna be you or calling you. Hey, I need some, cheer here. Can you cheer me up? And I'm getting discouraged, or I'm really getting anxious to making this change. Can you kind of push me? Give me, you know what I mean? So I think having that resource and support system environment is really crucial to face that dark room or innermost cave. And then also I think I see that you noted some strategies there. I think it's a focus on
yeah. Well, it's funny too, because I used to do lots of like caving and like and we, you go through cave systems and you know your way. You know the different tunnels and where they go, and you have a general sense of what's up, because you always turn around and look. Anytime you make a change, you go through a thing, you look around, because if you're going backwards, nothing's going to look the same, right?
Right.
But so sometimes I forget that. So one time we were on this caving trip, and I brought some friends into the cave, and I was like looking over, and I was like, man, look at these crystals, how that forms, and the rest of them are just like freaking out, like, how do we know where we are? What do we do? How are we gonna get back?
With the lipsticks.
And I'm just like, whatever, it's fine. And so again, it's that mentor. So they're in this dark cave, they're having these fears, and so then having that mentor along for the ride, and I was just like, well, you just marked the wall.
Yeah.
And so notice the marks. People have marked when they went through a different chamber. And so as you go through, you can just mark or you can stack little rocks, and that way you know. And so they don't know that, but the ability, like when you're in that innermost cave and you're having those fears, who's your resource?
Right.
You can go back to that mentor. You have many mentors. You can have your own mentor of just like, okay, what do I do? Okay, I can figure this out.
Remind of your own strength, or wisdom, or the confidence, or your value. Why did you start this journey from the first place?
Right.
There's motivation behind it. There's intention behind it. What was so important to you that you decided to start this journey? So having that in the forefront of mind, continue to reminding yourself that I want to get better. I want to be with my grandkids. I want to be able to play hard with my children. I want to be healthy. I want to be around longer. I mean, those kind of things, personal agenda or personal motivation in the values. Keeping that, reminding yourself with that can be also the mentor. Your self mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things on NPR, they had a thing about negative. What's it called? Negative reinforcement. And so basically, they talked about like if you want people to get motivated, you can usually have that positive, right? But you can also do negative motivation to where create consequences that you're not okay with, like kind of like, okay, the cave in the movies, like the cave collapses and you're like, let's just go back, and then the cave collapses and you're like, I guess we're gonna go forward, right? And so like when
there's no option to go back, you mean?
And so when the Spaniards discovered Central America and then raped and stole their culture, Columbus Day is coming up. I gotta keep it real.
Okay, all right. I didn't hear that, but go ahead.
So everybody complained, right? They're like, "Oh, this isn't Spain. It's so hot and humid. And we're living in the jungle, right?" And so they burned the ships. And then once they burned the ships, there is no going back. And so then people became very motivated about making it work.
Just like block the cave openings. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so that negative reinforcement, like there's a strategy.
What you would lose if you don't go through this.
That's right. Yeah. So if there was a cliff here, and you'd have a war up here, you put your army with its back to the cliff, because you're going to fight a hell of a lot harder if you have no retreat.
Right, exactly. Right? Yeah, absolutely. That makes sense.
So the same thing is, looking at the strategies of maybe a positive one, because like, used to it'd be like, look, if you get healthy, we'll buy, if I meet these metrics, these diachromatic goals, like if I lose this much weight, or if I'm able to run this far, then I will get a North Face jacket that I've always wanted. Well, I got a job and I could buy just a North Face jacket if I wanted, and that's not enough motivation. It was never motivation, But then saying, look, they did this one on NPR where this woman in Alabama, she is a black woman, and it's very racist down there in America, in the South. Okay, so.
I wouldn't know. I have not been there. So
no.
No.
Oh.
No. Go on.
So one of the things they're trying to figure out what a negative reinforcement for her would be to get her to stop smoking. Right? So she just couldn't think of anything. So her friend said, "How about you write a check to the Ku Klux Klan of Alabama, and then you give it to me, and if you don't quit smoking in 6 weeks, I'm gonna mail that check."
Oh my goodness!
And so for her,
did it work?
The idea of her contributing to the Ku Klux Klan was enough motivation that she didn't.
Oh wow! So they played this NPR,
right?
Oh wow, that's interesting.
And so you find that thing that you were unwilling to give up, and that's your positive motive, or that's your negative reinforcement. So, or negative motivation.
How you say, Newman?
Hey, Newman.
There you are again.
And
thank you.
So, like my rock climbing stuff, right? I have had that. I've caved in that. I've climbed mountains. I've survived blizzards. I've fallen off cliffs. That's my gear. That is like a part of who I am, right? Yeah. And the idea of like, if I don't make these metrics, then I give that away. Or I give it to somebody, and then they will donate it if I don't make my goal. Holy crap, I'm going to make my goal, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You got something like that?
Well, so the negative
your children. You give someone your children, then you'd be like,
Well, I guess I have a lot of examples for that kind of stuff with the kids. If you don't do this, then I'm taking something away. Well, holy crap! Like a phone or video games. I mean, those are the motivators for them. So they don't want to lose something that is important to them. Right. So absolutely, but I think the research shows over and over is that although the negative reinforcement can be a really powerful motivator, but still the positive gets you, I mean, that's much more, bringing much more better outcome.
Right.
That's it. However, I think finding the balance, I think that's where in the beginning we, our clients or even ourselves get stuck in ambivalence. If I don't do this anymore, unhealthy habit, drinking, smoking, shopping, gambling, whatever, then I can have this. Well, but I just am, enjoying this. I'm not hurting anybody. Right. So I think that, finding the balance. Well, if I let go of this, then I can have this, and also I won't be losing something important to me by not having this. Does that make sense?
Right.
So.
So no, go ahead.
I think I can't remember what's the name. I haven't done this for a while. It's some sort of payoff metric. There you go. Payoff metric is that.
Payoff.
I think I'm saying it right, or remembering the concept right. Payoff metrics. Basically, you have this 4 quadrant. So you're identifying what you would gain by not using this substance, and then what you will lose by not. And also next one is that by using this substance, what you will gain, or by using this substance, what you will lose.
Right.
So that kind of brings in a big picture of, whether it's smoking or drinking, or not changing the diet, or not doing mindfulness, or the health changes, health habit changes. By doing it, continue doing your habit, what will you gain?
Right.
If you continue your habit, what will you lose? And then we're gonna look at if you stop, if you change, then what will you gain? And if you stop, when you should stop, what will you lose?
Yeah.
So what happens when you do that? There's a whole lot of a positive, and then the result, the wreck, and you notice there's a awareness of all the good things you would gain, and all the important things you will lose by continuing this unhealthy habits.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I think that's what you're saying is that, so we find the balance.
Yeah.
And then yes.
Well, and I think those strategies, so like acknowledging that it's gonna suck, acknowledging discomfort, because Americans don't want to be uncomfortable. I want the temperature just right. I don't want the sun to be too hot. I want it to be just breezy enough. And we can control all these things.
Right.
And the idea of being uncomfortably hot, being uncomfortably bored, being uncomfortable with change, that's awesome. It's like a growing character for us,
I still really couldn't make myself to go to my doctor's office 10 minutes early, because the thought of sitting there for 10 minutes waiting, the boredom, it just kills me.
For an hour.
I I know this like kills me. So I think that's why I'm generally most of the people with ADHD generally late because the boredom kills them.
Well,
but you take your book with you or something.
And it is kind of a good practice to be like, I can be hungry and not eat.
But why would you not eat?
Because you don't have to.
But I'm hungry.
Because you have self-control.
But if I'm
practicing control. Right?
But I am hungry though.
Yeah.
Well, then that means I need to eat. My
but,
body says.
But accepting the uncomfortableness of being hungry, and being okay to walk with that hunger, or sit with that hunger.
Oh, because you do the fasting. Oh my gosh, you do the fasting. Yeah. Well, how many days?
10 days.
10 days, just water, right?
10 days, just water.
My goodness, that I really admire you for that.
It's only been 3 times.
I mean, still.
That's 30 days.
Yes, I guess that kind of applies to that when you start experiencing that physical hunger. You know, I don't know. Do you ever have a hunger pain during that time?
The first couple days, yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Man, so then is that when you use a lot of mindfulness and then kind of acceptance and?
Oh yeah. Well, just accepting that I'm going to be hungry and then I won't.
Okay.
I'm not going to eat breakfast, but maybe I could eat lunch. And then at lunchtime, I won't eat lunch, but maybe I could eat dinner. And then just doing that until it's not a problem.
One moment at a time, one meal at a time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because that idea of like 10
oh my God,
days,
10 days I can't eat, but it's just one day at a time.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's just kind of reduces the pressure or the anticipated pain, I guess.
Right.
So that is the approach to the innermost cave. So I kind of use it as a dark room or cave, right? Actually cave. So then ordeal.
Well, so then also a couple other strategies is focus on physical relaxation. So that's something you also do when you're doing kind of like fasting is kind of bring things down, slow things down, be more mindful. Mm-hmm. So that dialectical part of just are you practice? So if you're gonna
I'm hungry, but I'm okay. I'm not gonna die. Right. Or okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So you're saying okay, I'm gonna go to my innermost cave. There's going to be this big challenge. I'm preparing, and part of my preparation is finding my own balance and calm. Mm-hmm. So practicing meditation, practicing mindfulness, rewriting your script. Mm-hmm. I can't do this. I can't eat that. I can't. No, you can do whatever the hell you want to.
You decide not.
I am not comfortable with being fat anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't like how it makes me feel. I don't want to be anxious all the time. It's not comfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to make these changes because I want to be and feel a different way.
Right. So you're conscious, so basically by rescripting or, reframing the thought process is, I am choosing this. This is in my control. I am making this change because I chose to do so. That's not because somebody's taking it away, or not because I'm giving it up, or not because I have to.
Right.
Right.
And so much of our life, we're either simulations or reactions to our parents or to our friends, or like we don't have this sense of like who we are. We just know I'm not going to be that person, or now I'm just like my dad.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Okay. Go.
And
it's cultivating a gratitude too.
It's like that time when you're digging. It's like midnight. You're digging this grave, and you're just like burying another homeless man. You're just like, I'm just like my dad.
What? What are you
Not
talking
everybody go through that.
Oh my God. Okay, don't ever invite me to your house. I do not want to go through the backyard. I don't even know how.
The secret is always, if you're going to bury someone.
Are you serious? We're talking about this?
No, always have a hole dug before you need it. That's step 1. Step 2, always have 2 holes just in case somebody's walking their dog late at night and they see you.
And my God.
And you're like, oh my God, is that gold down there?
Oh my goodness. I thought you were going to say, just in case somebody sees you, that you can put yourself in the hole. But I guess not. All right.
So that's not everybody's experience?
No. I think this is the unique is yours.
So take charge, like you said, right? You are doing this. You are not a victim. You're changing, and it's going to suck, and then it won't.
Yeah,
right?
Okay.
And then cultivating gratitude, that idea of like focusing on the positive, rewiring the brain for positive.
Appreciation.
And then using resources. Keep your mentor. Keep several mentors.
Flashlight.
Keep your flashlight. Those are your flashlights in the innermost cave.
And the first aid kit. Yes.
So then when you get to that step 8, which is the ordeal, that's the attempting the big change. That's really that, kind of like the big boss, like, in martial arts, you fight all these little things, and then this, the big boss. Mm-hmm. And then you fight that, and you're like, I can do this, because I built up skills, I know what I can do, and it'll challenge, it'll hurt, and you'll fall down, and you get back up, and eventually you win, right?
So sounds like, okay, so innermost cave, approach to the innermost cave. So ordeal sounds like it's when you're in the midst of the dark room, and you're in the midst of the innermost cave, where all the discomfort is happening, and then this is where your trial, this is where you're push and pull, this is where you're challenging yourself to stay where back off, or kind of all that tension is happening actually. That's right. Okay, so this is where this is maybe the way the butterfly trying to come out of a cocoon.
That's right.
Not actually come out yet, but trying to come out. They
right.
Fighting. That's and then
right. Breaking through,
then struggling, and give up, not give up, but I'm here already. And then trying to find a sense of self. I guess this is where they're really kind of getting into their own facing their own shadow or enemy, and then their wisdom or their own self mentor even.
That's right. And kind of like where you start to become your own mentor. Mm-hmm. And so that's that sense of like becoming reborn, like you were talking about with the butterfly, right? You're dissolving, you're metamorphosizing, and you're just like, you know what? I'm different. Mm-hmm. And that's the ordeal, is really becoming that difference, refining yourself in the cauldron of fire and disappointment and hope, and becoming this different person that you wanted to be, right? And it's scary. It is truly scary to become that different person, to be healthier, to be that person, like that ordeal, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, it's like, I went to church, to the potluck, and I didn't eat any of that crappy food that makes me feel horrible. I went to a pizza party, and I didn't eat the pizza. I went to a birthday party, and I brought my own almond ice cream and my own gluten-free cupcake so I could eat, and I survived it. I made it, right? I went to Thanksgiving dinner, and I didn't eat a bunch of their crap, and I'm the only one after dinner that feels great. Like, let's do stuff, right?
Everybody's falling asleep, but you're like, I'm awake and stuff. Okay.
So those are those challenges, and for like everybody, it's different. It could be that like first world problem kind of things, all the way to like I left, your cheating husband who beats you all the time, and you're like, Patrick, I can't deal with this. No, I'm just kidding. But you leave some traumatic event like this, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to freaking have my own place. I'm going to be poor, and then I won't be. I'm going to work crappy 3 jobs, and I will make it. I will survive.
Yes.
Right.
So I mean, so I'm thinking, my practice will be more like a clients, who constantly struggle with standing up for themselves, or dealing with families like condemning. I mean, that's self families judging them, or constantly degrading them, and then knowing that it's gonna be there. Let's say Thanksgiving dinner, a family gathering, and then my client's like, okay, I know what my mom's gonna say, I know what my mom's gonna do, what my family's gonna do, how they're gonna say I'm fat, or I'm not worthy, or all that kind of that already the dysfunctional dynamics set, but knowing that it's going to happen, go to the family dinner, and being able to be assertive, being able to set the boundary. Hey, you know what, Mom? I would don't appreciate when you talk to me that way, because it makes me feel bad or sad or not that. So that would be the ordeal. Being able to use use the learned skills, or trusting themselves, having the faith, and having the self-confidence and the self-efficacy too. Is that I can do this,
right?
I know I'm gonna struggle. This is the first time. I know I'm gonna struggle, but you know what? I can do this with all the resources, or the preparations, or my, willingness, openness to, face the challenge.
Right.
So that's where they kind of then when they come out of that in the family gathering with it saying that I was able to tell my mom, and then that adds to another layer. I'm much more actually. a self-confidence again. I guess, oh, I did it.
Right.
Oh my gosh, I was so scared, I was so anxious, she's gonna chew me up, but you know what, I did it. And then I didn't break, or
right.
I didn't survive.
survived.
And that will be the also reward part of it.
At first I was afraid, I was petrified.
Okay, triumph over your fear. There you go.
Triumph over. Well, and so I thought about this when you said boundaries too. So think of like the innermost cave is creating your own boundaries.
Okay.
And knowing that you might have difficulties fitting people inside your boundaries, and you might lose people and lose family. And then that ordeal is practicing, or not practicing.
Entering in.
But really enforcing your own healthy boundaries.
Yeah. Entering
just like you're saying, like, I'm not okay with the way that you're talking to me. I don't find it appealing. I find it hurtful, and I'm okay if you don't talk to me anymore.
Right.
Well, what if they don't talk to you anymore? Then you don't get hurt by them anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so that willingness to lose something that it might, might be important. However, that because the self-respect, because of a self-awareness, because of you understand who you are, who you want to become. Maybe even though it might hurt, but maybe this is the
absolutely
what's best way to go right now, because it's not giving me, it's not encouraging me, it's not adding to the value or joy in my life. So
willingness to lose. That's the best.
That is the best.
Because that point you're different. You are now your own mentor. But you're reborn.
Yeah, then there's no attachment. Therefore, then your anxiety and fears might be, not as much.
That's right.
Yeah, because you have
freaking like that. You're reborn when you have such healthy boundaries and such internal strength that you're willing to lose people that don't fit in your boundaries.
Yeah, willing to lose
even your own old thoughts.
Willing to lose what was important to you once.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for the for creating joy. Scott said, creating. What did you say? You're at risk of joyful life.
Yeah, there you
are.
You're like, holy crap! What if I'm happy all the time?
Yes.
So that's the last stage. Then is that kind of reward. And I'm telling you, like when I first read about this, I was on that other side, just barely on the other side of like waking up smiling. I'd go for a run and I would just smile. And I was just like, what the hell's going on?
Oh, you're at risk of joy.
I was risk of joy. And so much of my life was like, help others. If you drown trying to save somebody drowning, it's okay. You're a sacrifice. You're a martyr.
Oh.
But that's crazy.
That is crazy.
But no one told me any different. I just saw my mom and sisters get abused, and I was like, I'm going to save people. Men are brutal. I'm going to not be a brutal man. I'm going to be a caring, sympathetic man. But, knowing how to do that.
To the cost of your own self.
To the cost of myself.
Yeah, yourself,
And so, to protect them from being martyrs and being hurt, I become the martyr, and I become hurt. And at that point of like that seizing the reward or coming out the other side reborn and like truly being happy for the first time in your life and joyful and knowing that you like, and I went to a marriage therapist and I said, well, I feel like I'm sacrificing myself for my kids. And she said, what if you didn't? What if you didn't have to? And I was just like, what? Like,
was that even an option?
Can you do that?
Yeah, is that even an option? Or where did that come from? I never thought about that. Yeah, that was not.
Like, you mean you can just be happy?
Oh,
that's insane. I told everybody else I was their mentor, I was their cheerleader. But the idea of like, wait, I could be happy like Patience. I can eat healthy. I don't have to rely on pizza and soda, and I don't have to take on everybody else's burden. I don't have to work for them. I don't have to exhaust myself for everybody else. I can create healthy boundaries, and I can lose family. I can lose ladies. Lose relationships, that I thought I needed, but I don't.
Yeah.
And that was...
it was draining your energy.
That was fucking amazing.
There's an F-bomb for you guys.
Fucking amazing.
But that was draining. You just realize that, there's a whole different side of the world or life that, it's possible for you.
Yeah.
For some reason, you didn't see that. So for some reason, that was not an option for you.
Yeah.
But,
and you watch that in patients all day long.
Yeah, and then you become aware that, oh, there's another option. There's a whole different life that I can create, or I can go for one night. But then it's interesting because I wonder, that, like you say, you see that in your patient all the time. Is the other side possible? Well, what would the other side look like? I can't even picture what other side look like if I stop doing
scary,
this.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really interesting. And then I think that that in itself, that gaining that the insight, the awareness, or even aha moment, I guess, the epiphany. I was like, what? So shift when that once we made the shift of seeing something new or something's possible that we never thought of. Isn't that kind of exciting? Scary, but also exciting.
Right.
That is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Yeah. And that's what. So on that reward, it's the consequence of attempting. So I went to this DBT or dialectical behavioral training.
Yes.
And
basic, right?
Mariah was next to me, and Mariah is the best person to ever be next to you because she brings snacks, healthy snacks. She had oranges and pistachios deshelled, and little healthy kettle chips. I was just like.
There was one of those potato chips I ate. It's like there's avocado oil, Himalayan salt, and then potatoes.
Boom.
3 ingredients.
Best person next to it. If we were in college, I would have been like, "Can I borrow your notes and copy those?"
And then exactly, I bring my the snacks, and then it's all somehow it turned into all moved to your side of a table. My snack.
How that happened?
Yes.
So in there, Scott's teaching the dialectical behavioral part, and in there he said something about. The consequence of some attempting to live your best life.
Building the life worth living.
Building a life worth living.
Yeah, and then reducing the misery, but okay with ordinary misery, but reducing the unnecessary misery.
Right.
Yeah.
So ordinary misery is that Skinner's box part that we talked about. Just like life is just like but it's okay. It's predictable.
Yeah, pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is optional. That's what
Boom. That's right.
Yeah, there's in the DBT thing.
So, thinking about this as we close this out, thinking about what would it look like if you were able to live a life worth living.
Mm-hmm.
What would that look like?
Building the life. Yeah, exactly. That would be just wow. Since we're talking about Hero's Journey and then by Joseph Campbell, I found one of a quote, and I think it's beautiful.
Did you do some homework?
I kind of did just a little bit.
Nice. This is why I would have sat next to you in college.
Whatever. You just want my snacks. And then before that, this is one of my favorite quotes. I don't know. I said this during the Wise Woman ICT. I don't know if you remember.
I remember everything.
Oh, you do. Thank you. Okay, no, I don't.
Okay.
So, do you want to read this one?
Okay. Mastering others is strength. Mastering yourself is true power. By Lao Tzu.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So I always love that quote because it really. For me, this means that, yes, we can try to, control our environment, or we can build, build skills and learn tools to control our environment, including my mom, my dad, or people, or others, and have them do what I want them to do. It's a strength, it's a skills. However, mastering myself, knowing who I am, how I behave in, facing my fear, and how I use my resources, my strength, my weakness, knowing myself, and then understanding myself enough to where I can master who I am, in any way, is a true power. Basically, that's where the power comes in.
So I would almost reverse this.
Okay.
So I would say mastering others is power.
Okay.
I have the power to master everybody else, but mastering yourself is true strength.
Strength, yeah. There you go. I think that do got it wrong. Oh, you got it wrong. Okay, you can.
That's my quote now.
Okay, that's your goal. So,
no, so you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I see that. So
anybody could use a bunch of like force to make everybody do what they're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
But to be able to control yourself and become the so this is one of those things of like some of your greatest motivations, if you've ever been a parent, is stop martyring yourself and teaching your kids to be freaking martyrs.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea that teaching them that inner strength is truly the greatest strength.
Right.
How you act. So anybody could yell at somebody for cutting them off.
Sure.
But can you be like, that person doesn't control my environment.
Yeah.
He doesn't control me, and I don't react that way, because then you're going to see your kids react that way to stuff, and then you're just like, stop reacting that way, and then you're reacting to the reaction.
Teaching them wisdom.
Right.
Yeah, through the practice of wisdom.
Being the person you want your children to be.
Oh, I like that.
By being that person.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of telling them who to be.
Show them.
Show them.
Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot.
Oh,
maybe maybe you need to make a quote and then put them on a T-shirt.
Yes.
Dr. G said B. Okay, well here.
Okay, and then you said, okay, then you have and this one
from Joseph.
Joseph Campbell.
Is that how you're supposed to say his name?
Chantez le Marseillaise pour Joseph Roger de Lille.
Okay, what is that?
Singing the national anthem of France.
Really?
Chantez avec moi.
Oh.
Oui?
Ah? No. You don't want me to start speaking Korean to you, do you?
Yes, I do.
No, I don't.
Say something in Korean.
No, read that one first.
Okay, we must be willing to let go of the life we planned so we can have the life that is waiting for us.
That's a Joseph by Joseph Campbell. I think that really speaks a lot about kind of the hero's journey.
The life we planned. So that's almost that kind of sense of, this is who I'm going to be. This is who my parents told me to be. This is who
this is what I'm supposed to do. This is how I'm supposed to live.
Yeah.
Just like just like you, just wanting to have the family, you have to be the sacrifice. And so in order for you to keep the family and then keep everybody happy, and then why are you just not acknowledge who you are? But until you let go of that, you're not gonna be able to see the life you actually is waiting for you, what that you want.
And I mean,
but you were not willing to let go of it.
Well, and you can even see the other side. It's
right,
just like
exactly.
Swim across this bay that I tell everybody else to swim across.
Right, exactly. I mean, that was
like,
just your entire. That's the only thing you knew, and then that's the only thing you thought you knew.
Yeah, because even with rock climbing, we'd go out there and we'd climb these cliffs and climb these mountains, and I was always the mentor, so I was always the one that climbed the most, and so I was just like, just do this, it's fine, and it's secure, and this will hold this many kilonewtons, it's fine. But I had so much some of the time of just like, am I going to be okay on this cliff? Will this hold? I don't know. Nobody's telling me.
Nobody's like, you're going to be okay to do this. Yeah, I think maybe that's where I guess the therapist, that you mentioned, talking to you, that help to see the other side of the light, is that maybe there was one of those.
That's what you got, the mentors. That's where the mentor comes, because they can see the other side. They've been there. They know, right? Yeah. So that's that reward. You become the light, and this is the greatest thing ever. Is once you have overcome your innermost demons, your innermost fears, and you freaking succeeded, right?
That's the reward, right?
Well, you become. So that rebirth.
Yeah. Oh.
But that rebirth becomes a light. So a lot of times people walk around and be like, you know what you need to do with your life? You need to be doing all this stuff. That's way different than people going, what the hell's up with this person? I want to be like them. Like, they have just so much energy and happiness, and what are they doing that I could do? Almost the difference between being like in Christianity, you go out and you could try to convince people they should be Christians, as opposed to being awesome Christians that draw people and be like, hey, where do you go to church? You're pretty amazing. I want to be like you.
Exactly. Yeah, I have. I definitely understand this.
And then you're you just need some Nikes and some Kool-Aid. And
I mean, you see that people actually internalized this their own wisdom, their own and the appreciation for their own strength, and then also kindness, compassion, practice towards their own weakness and the things that it's not so great. However, they can still practice the kindness and self-compassion towards themselves, so that they're not constantly beating themselves up, or
Right.
self-sabotaging, or judging, and self-defeating thoughts, and then oh my gosh, I'm a failure. But you don't see that, and so I think that's when you see people like that, you kind of know,
Right.
you're like, oh wow, you have light,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's who you want your kids to see, that when you are stressed,
Yeah.
how do you deal with your ordeal? Do you do meditation? Do you do yoga? Do you eat healthier? Do you mindfulness? How do you talk? How do you react? And, be that light for your family. Don't shine the light on them.
Just the flashlight.
Let them.
Can you see
be
how
attracted
bright
to
this
light.
is? I want you to use this.
Okay, so that's a good point. Tie this all together, right? You're in a cave. It's all dark and scary. Somebody has a light.
Ooh, who has it?
You're going to go to that person with a light, because they're the only person that can see in that dark ass cave.
Ooh. And then you take the light and then run?
Then you hit them in the throat, and then you gotta place where he buried, or a hole dug. Put them in there, cover it up, and then put like 3 or 4 rocks.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So somebody can find them or what?
So then it's just like, yeah, it's all fine, because there's rocks on there. That's obviously not where the
this
body
is.
is.
Okay, this is completely turning into morbid story.
Right.
So anyhow.
All right.
Okay, but I like that though. There's
the murdering the person in the cave.
Not the.
But yeah, they draw.
Yeah.
Be the light. Be the flashlight in the cave for other people.
There you go. But
For
okay,
others.
and then make sure that you have plenty of batteries. So just in case battery runs out, or
Well, the battery. Yeah, right. So this is not. This is not a end product.
Yeah. No, it's not.
This is a process.
Exactly.
And you go over it again, the next thing, and the next thing.
Yeah.
And it becomes easier and easier and easier. But yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because even though there are a lot of times, I don't know about you, but a lot of times I know what I'm supposed to do, what I'm bring the light instead of shining the light at my kids, but I'm not always perfect. And then there are a lot of times I fail, there are a lot of times I screw up, and then I say to my kids, it's like, sorry, I screwed that up,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But I think that's where the self-compassion, self-kindness comes in,
Right.
to allow myself, knowing that I'm a human being, I am going to not always succeed, I am going to screw up, here and there, and then it's okay, because it's not, like you said, it's a process, it's an improvement, it's we're in a process, we're progressing. We're not going for the perfection, we're
Right.
not going for the end product. It's the journey, how we go through this journey,
Yeah.
it's so that
Yeah.
that's what.
And then,
Be nice.
Yeah. And it's funny because you find your peace, and like, everybody always thinks everybody else has their stuff together, but like,
You're gonna have to see. That's the thing. I think the acceptance and the self-awareness, acceptance, and the coming out to to your true, authentic yourself. It just happens from the beginning.
yeah.
So awareness,
Mhm.
and then acceptance,
That was
and
the
then at
awareness,
the
yeah.
end, it's just then finding your true, authentic yourself.
Authentic self.
That's what I said. Awareness, acceptance, and the authenticity. That has been my own thing. I've always.
That's
Repeat
right,
it.
with the wise women. That's okay.
I said it. Yeah, that's what
right.
I'm trademarking it.
All right, say it again.
So awareness and acceptance and the authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah. Finding my authentic self.
Right.
Yeah, but it starts with awareness
And
then acceptance.
Most people fall apart because they project this image that there's someone that they're not. They can do more than they can.
Yeah.
And then that's their greatest failure, because the people eventually they fall apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we've all done that.
Exactly, because I want to present myself in a certain way, to perceive in a certain way.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go.
Well, as we come to a
What's behind?
close, next week we're going to be doing the part 4.
I won't be here.
Why not?
I told you
Do
that
you
last
hate
week.
America? you hate all these people?
I don't hate America, but I love my clients.
Oh, she has to work.
I have to work.
Right.
I'm sorry. I would love to be here, but it was already in the schedule.
We'll
so.
use your quotes.
Yes, you can use my
All
quotes. I don't know what those are, but.
So next week we'll be talking about part 4, the road back.
Oh.
So on the journey, once you've got your reward, you're reborn, you're like, I'm a different person. Then how do you go back into the old world?
How do you integrate them? How do you, find a balance between...
That's right.
Yeah.
So you got to find your atonement.
Oh.
And even like... and we'll talk about that more, but one of the interesting things is... when I was at the dialectical thing, I was like,
dialectical thing. DBT.
Leadership DBT thing. Part of that, when you learn about human nature and you learn about the effects of kind of how you behave, you're just like, crap, we all screw each other up. Like, you start to think about, like...
I remember you saying,
everything
I'll screw my kids up.
I know. I'm like, well, at least, I didn't chase him around with a fly swatter like my mom did,
Oh.
But yeah, you start to feel like, crap, okay, I wish I would have learned this stuff in high school or college,
I did this wrong, that wrong, and this wrong. But the thing about the Patrick, I think that's what, again, I'm going to bring this up, is that kindness and compassion is that you might find, you might kind of remember, I did that wrong, this wrong, and then, this time, but you probably did a whole bunch more right.
Oh, yeah.
A whole bunch more good. So it's kind of compensates even, So anyhow, I just want to throw out there. Because as a parent, I know how they feel. I was like, because I remember sitting in my social work graduate school in class, one of them.
Same thing, right?
And I was like, crap, I screwed my kids up. Oh my God, they're screwed. I am so sorry, but yes, I remember that feeling.
Yes.
And yeah.
All right, so next week we talk about the road back.
Who are you going to bring next week?
We need to bring Jim Maddox on. But he's never here.
Well, no.
He's with his girlfriend. No, they're married. His wife.
Okay. He's
not
going to be here now.
Because he teaches like emotional intelligence.
Oh,
like,
he does.
Like EQ. Like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, he and I like Joe Harris' Window.
What?
Okay, we're a big fan of Joe Harris' Window. I talked about that last week a little bit briefly. I'll tell you later.
Joe Harris?
Joe Harris. Joe Harris' Window.
Okay.
Yeah, we like that one a lot. Yes.
So, thank you guys. I hope this was meaningful for you guys. And I really appreciate you guys being on here. And I know for all you guys that are watching this offline, feel free to comment. Tell us, where you're at in the journey too. And kind of, who was your mentor? What was your major ordeal? How did you overcome it? Because, again, this journey is not unique. Your journey is as unique as you think it is. It is not unique. It's all the same. So, we then become stronger as a society, as a group, as a people, based on knowing other people's journeys and what worked and didn't work and who their mentors and what helped. And, anything that you feel free enough to share, please do. I always, again, try to lead as much as I can through transparency. Although
you're good at that.
Still wear a shirt sometimes. But I do the Sprat. The Sprat effect is 3 buttons.
Okay, we want your, emotional, mental, or the experience of transparency, not physical transparency. How about that? There's some boundary. I'm setting my boundary.
A lot of ladies don't know this.
Okay, what is it?
The chest hair gets them. The back hair keeps them. Is that true? I feel like that's true.
Okay, chest hair gets them.
The chest hair brings them in. The back hair keeps them.
Keeps them, or make them run away. Chase them. That makes better sense.
If I was too revealing, they'd be like, "Are you like a bear from Chernobyl?" Like,
chest hair keeps them, back hair chase them. How about that? I don't know. I'm just making that up. I don't know. I think it's
I
cannot speak for all the women out there. So.
I think love blinds people.
I don't think you have to be a doctor to find out. I know that one.
I know, because all right.
Okay. People are going to...
All right, you guys. Thank you again for Mariah for being here and gracing us with all her intellect and wisdom.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoy being here.
And you can visit her at
North Star Therapy.
North Star Therapy, which is just below or above South Star. Is that right?
Probably. I'm not really good at direction, but I think you're right. Oh, and then ADHD Live.
And catch them online on Facebook. ADHD Live.
He will be there next Monday with us, me and Scott.
I'll be there next week. So
yes.
I'll try to distract them as much as possible so we get nothing accomplished.
It's already happening there.
I'll be the squirrel. All right. Thank you guys for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.